The story of yoga begins from the Vedic times, 6,500 years ago. In the Rig Veda, the seer poets of the Vedic times spoke a lot about our ability to be in sync with nature and especially the sun. The sun was one of the most important gods in that pantheon, as revered as the source of energy. Even today, as yogis, when we say Om Suryaya Nama, we're literally saying salutations to the giver of energy. Back then, even today, we value and we realize that all life on earth is dependent on the sun itself. If you were to put yourself 6,500 years ago, the magnificence of a sunrise and a sunset would absolutely be something that makes you reverent in its own way. We're going to practice a simple breathing technique to balance the sun and the moon, Hakaram, Takaram, Hatha Yoga within us. So bringing your hand into Vishnu Mudra, block the right nostril, and without any sound, inhale through the left. Close the nostrils, Antar Kumbhak, retaining the breath in for double the inhalation time. Exhale through the right for double inhalation time. Once you have exhaled, close the nostrils, hold the breath out, Vahya Kumbhak. Inhale right, Purak. Retain in Antar Kumbhak. Exhale out left, Rechak. Close, Vahya Kumbhak. The Egyptian culture spent a lot of their spiritual practice on sun gazing. The ability to sort of watch the sun meant that it has an impact on the decalcification of the pineal gland. So sun gazing was an important spiritual practice in the ancient Egyptian culture. In the Indian traditions of yoga, fire or Agni has always been the most important element when it comes to prana, and from there we build. So your ability to manage through things like Surya Namaskar, pranayama, and everything from the food you eat to the thoughts that you nurture ensures that you have a certain level of prana within you. In modern times, we find that most people are lacking in this prana, which means that very often, by the time people are 35, they've lost the mojo, they've lost the desire for, or rather the energy to live a vibrant life. In today's times, when you're completely stuck with electronic gadgets or you're completely cooped up in a room in a city, it's very important to again come out into nature, to be in places where you're in tune, your prana and the prana of the cosmos is in tune. To be able to come out in nature at least once a day. And this could be anything, sunrise, sunset, or any other time, will mean that you come in communion with prana itself. There's no point complaining about being lacking in energy. You've got to do something about it. Being in nature is one of those. Friends, let's finish by sitting straight. Close your eyes. There are some small things in meditation body language. The way I'm sitting, Siddh Asana, ensures that the heel is pressing on the trigger point for Mooladhara chakra. So there's a certain stimulation. If you find this very difficult, you can also put the toes here and these toes here. Swastik Asana. Very beautiful. But don't leave the legs dangling, otherwise your back will have to do too much work to be straight. So lock the toes. Then the question is, what do you do with the hands? So in the hands we take up Jnana Mudra. It's the best mudra for meditation. Most people, symbolic would be this, but puts a strain on the back. So keep it simple. Put the palms there, you'll get the structural support for the spine. Next, the tongue touches the soft upper palate. It rolls up, touches the palate. Call it Nabi or Kechri Mudra. Nabo Kechri. Finally, the eyes are focused above the eyebrow center. Shambhavi Mudra. So once you've done these things, just sit still. You don't have to meditate, you just have to prepare. Meditation happens to us. It's not a verb, it's an experience. To be able to experience meditation, there has to be some part of us that can become a witness. So for our crazy moving minds, being still allows us to then watch and witness. Now that we are still, we bring our attention to our breathing, just to watch it. As we watch, it becomes more and more slow, till eventually we get these pauses where the breathing suspends. Inhale, hold the breath. Exhale, hold the breath. The first sparks of meditativeness begin when you find that all of a sudden, whatever you're talking or thinking to yourself just stops, and you can start to feel your presence, your being. It could be just feeling your breath. It could be just that suddenly you're aware of all the sounds that you hear because the inner dialogue has stopped. This may last even just 10 seconds, but now you know that there's a doorway. You know that there exists you beyond what you're thinking all the time. Once that hits you, that realization hits, and it hits all of us at different points in life, then we start to cultivate practices to ensure that that happens regularly, daily. Yoga is simply not allowing those things to be left to chance, which means you want to be silent, but you don't leave it to chance. Yeah? You cultivate your life in such a way that whenever you want, you can become silent. Why is this so important? It has a radical impact on the way you live your life. Up until now, everything that we do, our whole life, not just our dreams, desires, but our stresses and negativities are all based on what we have created in our own mind. When you find that the mind is peripheral to your experience, two things happen. One, you can either say that since it's peripheral, it's not really important what I do with my body mind because I am central and body mind is peripheral. That can lead you through a different kind of, it can lead you astray also. The other approach is to say that if it's peripheral, I'd like it to be pleasant. I'd like my body mind to be in a pleasant space. It's anyway peripheral and I can watch it. So why should it be in agony? Why should my body mind be in any form of misery? So you do your food, you do your exercise, you do everything so the body is kept optimized, so is the mind. Because without that, you cannot come into states where you can transcend. Yoga has never been about negation. Yeah. Unlike many philosophies, it is not about negation, it's about transcending. To transcend, you have to be able to master it. So once your body-mind is your friend, and I use the word body-mind because they work together, once it's your friend, it'll be quiet, still, and then the worries of the world and your responsibilities and everything will not be so daunting, neither will it be all-encompassing for you. You cannot take life too seriously once you see that it's just peripheral. A lot of people are willing to give up their life for their beliefs. They're willing to go to war, fight, argue, fight with friends, family for beliefs, or ideas. But once you see that it's all very peripheral, you can still engage, and you have to engage actively in life. But it's not all of you. Right? There's something beyond, which is just watching the way my beliefs are, the way I think about anything, my political views, my social views, my religious views, anything is just peripheral to who I am. Slowly we find that yoga will train you to just lose all these identities. So when you have a certain loosening of all these identities, come to find that there's just clear space within. All my ideas, and I have very strong views on politics and social views, but everything is just peripheral to who I am. It's not existential. As we wait for one of the most gorgeous sunrises here in Badami, I'm absolutely amazed by the landscape. It's one of the things I enjoy about being a yoga teacher is that I get a chance to come out in nature and explore the beauty of nature. Slow breathing. There's a very beautiful story that is recounted by Hermann Hesse in the book Siddhartha. Siddhartha was training in meditation his whole young adult life, and then at some point he meets a woman and wants to engage in a relationship, which means that he needs to have a career. Now he is not trained in any job, but he goes to a merchant and he asks the merchant to give him a job. So the merchant says, what do you know? Do you know accounts? Do you know sales, bookkeeping? He says, I don't know anything. The only thing I've trained my whole life is meditation, which means I know how to wait. And the merchant understands the value of a person who knows how to wait. Immediately he gives him the job. It's a very, very beautiful, deep insight by Hermann Hesse that the art of meditation, in fact the art of life in many ways, is to wait or learn to wait gracefully. Day to day in your meditation, in your life, and eventually over the course of a lifetime, sort of gracefulness with which we live our life, waiting for the end itself. Bring your hands like this. So take your left hand on your right thigh. Take your right hand on top. Okay. So left hand on the right thigh, right palm on top. This is known as Sankalp mudra. So if you have any resolve, a Sankalp is a deep resolve, a deep intent to make some change in your body, mind, life. So recruiting your body, mind to be able to make that journey towards what you consider important in your life. Sankalp, an intent, a resolution. As we come in towards 2021, all of us will be thinking about something we want to do uniquely or differently, or to be who we want to be this year. So whenever you make a resolution, Sankalp mudra trains body mind to be in a space to focus on your will. So whatever is your Sankalp, stating it to yourself 3 times, and as you state it, visualize it. It's important to visualize because the left hemisphere deals with words, but the right hemisphere understands no language, but it understands visuals. When you have a verbalization and a visualization together, then it becomes very powerful as a Sankalp. So you've got the mudra, you've got the verbalization, can be anything. I want to be more energetic or anything. And you have the visualization of that. Let's take up 3 Om chants, A, U and M. Breathe in. Tratak, focusing your eyes on the sunrise. Tratak. with the eyes closed to internalize the sun within. Generally, sun gazing is done for the first 5-10 degrees, and then as your eyes get more and more powerful, you can take it higher and higher and higher. Yogis are known to do this even to the noon sun. If we try it now, it will destroy the cornea. Slowly, little higher, little higher. And that's why yogis have the most powerful eyes. It's almost mesmerizing. I hope you enjoyed that beautiful sunrise at Badami. When you do go out and see a sunrise, please do capture it, share it back with me. I'd love to see. One of the things that I live for, the sunrise at the sunset. Namaste, friends.